Hello everyone, I'm Reme. I'm a concept artist and designer working for the video game industry for the last 5 to 7 years. I have worked for various companies including Oculus, Kitbash 3D, Terraform, and many more. Today we are here to finally wrap up our cargo vehicle. Well, in this video we will be covering the graphic design and some material work. I'll be fast because it's fucking cooking over here. It's too hot. Oh my fucking god, I'm just sweating while I'm talking, so I'm sorry if I just melt down throughout this recording. I'll try not to. I have windows open everywhere, but yeah, we'll see. Prepare for some melting faces, just like in the Indiana Jones movie. So here we go. All right. So as you can see, we are on Illustrator right now. I sped up the video for 500 times because it's so freaking warm here. I just want this to go forward as quick as possible. I don't know how many times I recorded this video. I think this will be the last one for now. Till our next video, which is gonna be next week. I will explain you guys what we are going to do. As you can see, I'm using Illustrator, and I put all the orthographic view in there, just so I can have a better overview on how the design actually looks like, and I don't overcomplicate things by just looking at different perspectives or just trying to fit things together, because we are just doing graphic design right now. The reason why I'm using Illustrator is because it's giving me a lot more flexibility, and I find a lot of similarities between Illustrator and using 3D, to be honest, because you play around with the corners and it just feels like you're dealing with a 3D mesh, like as if you are pulling and pushing vertices. But also it doesn't break, it doesn't have pixels, so you can stretch and squish and stretch everything however you want. Also, it's quite modular too. As you can see over here, for example, I just cut some parts and I just grabbed that part that I just cut and just used it in the back, while using the other lines, for example, on the user interface that's hidden behind the cover. The one over here is that's the electric battery, so I was thinking maybe I can indicate that you can grab that part and just pull it out. That's why I put the box there, and then just indicated that action that you're doing. Also, I decided to add the caution text there just to inform people that it might be too hot. For this case, I'm using a font that's called Space Mono. I was thinking it was actually complementing the design that we have. It's clean, it's utilitarian, and yeah, it feels futuristic too. Yeah, there's a bunch of adjustments. I mean, you could easily do this by just playing around with the text itself, but I was going to export it anyway, so I just expanded it and just made it a vertex and adjusted it there, just eyeballed it. Those who are using Photoshop or any sort of pixel-based software for making such things, I cannot stress that enough to use Illustrator or any kind of vector software for such things, because it just makes your life way easier, and it's so organized. I just love that. I'll share you guys the files. When I think about it, maybe I can also share the Blender file with you guys as well. I can put it into Artstation, or maybe we can do Conroad as well. I can share them like for free. We'll see. I'll check it. Might not be free. Maybe €1. Yeah, we'll see. The indication over there, just on the covers, I was thinking like it can indicate that there is like either a storage space or like maybe something that you can put inside there. I don't know, something like that. So that's why it actually has a box that's empty box, because you can fill up the box. This is interesting. I was thinking about implementing the UX onto the upper part of the vehicle. So this, I was thinking that it can be a part of a navigation, like it can have like travel logs. So when you do these, it usually helps. Although this actually came from my gut while I was working on the UI, that you can think about the terms, like what is the travel, what is travel logs, what does travel logs have, does have directions, what is direction, what those directions might have, coordinates, maybe what does coordinates have, like what sort of elements can indicate coordinates. So thinking about such base elements can help you expand the design further and give it context that people can feel related to it. As I mentioned before, I use a font like say called Space Mono, but for the numbers it wasn't really fitting, so I decided to go for something else. In this case, I was thinking like, I thought this font was quite suitable with the design that I have. It was sleek, it was futuristic, it was still clean. So I thought like, okay, this is a good fit for the numbers. So I just put it there. This element I couldn't find anywhere to put in this case, like in this, like, while I was working on Illustrator, but I was thinking about already putting it into the rails just underneath the battery cells, just to indicate how far you can push it and pull it, like, you know. In this case it was like 0 centimeters, for example, because they were already locked in. This was just to fill the design a little bit, but you can call it like some information about the rims, or like the size of the rims, because they're kind of special, like special design. So yeah, it can amplify the feeling, it can amplify the storytelling or the use case or the background information about the design. Sorry for the kid noises in the back, if there's any, if you can hear any, because there's the birthday of my landlord's kid. This also is quite random. I thought like I could play around with the lines a little bit, but even on the actual design I couldn't find anywhere to put it, but it won't hurt, it's still in the library. So this one, I thought it was like a bar that you can just press on and it could just go down and you can just access some elements. That's why I put it there. Like everything actually has its own reason for being there, but I like sometimes you just don't even think about it, it just comes out quite automatically. That's why I think those YouTube videos are covering are just making me realize why I make those decisions, which is nice. As you can see over here, everything was, like I said, everything's modular, so you can just grab this stuff and just reuse them. repurpose them. I thought this would be like a better indicator. As you guys also see on the figure on the side of the car, the roof of the car is quite accessible, so putting those UI wouldn't really hurt. Like, it's not outside the access. So I thought I could use the cover. I thought I could use the like top part of the car for such elements. Yes, it's in 5%. Yeah, I was thinking like, what is that shape? Like, how many percent is that shape? Because it was too hot, my brain is just fried. Like, I just cannot do anything lately. Classic summer. I should get an AC. Yeah, I thought this part was kind of empty, so I decided to put those indicators just to show that, okay, maybe you can press on them and they can open up. It's like, you know, think about just pointing out, like putting your finger somewhere and just brings this like fingerprint on that surface. So it's like yeah, going back to the basics, you know. So we are on Blender right now. For this case, I'm using decal machine, and I cannot stress that enough also for you guys to use it actually, because it's very intuitive and it's like it just made my life very easy. Although at first it was kind of difficult for me to understand how to set it up, because I'm a sucker at reading documents. I just cannot read. I just don't read. I get so bored. I just scroll and don't understand anything until I put my hands on it. So, but for the brilliant people out there who can read, I'm sure it will be way easier than how it was for me. Alternative solution is to just bring the images as like planes, and using like shrink wrap on the surfaces, but they sometimes like do not really fit well. So yeah, I thought I would use decal machine for this case, just so everything can be super smooth on the surface without so many distortion on the planes. As you can see here, our UI is there, and with some very like, you press D and you can just use your mouse to just move the plane up and down, like just to fit it onto the surface as good as possible. I put the logo there and the text, because I thought it was looking much more dynamic this way. Somehow there was another software or something that was like slowing my Blender down a lot, so I had to restart. Like, you know, I was having some troubles with rendering. I don't know why. Anyways, yeah, after you apply the decal, you can easily mirror it. But if you also mirror it, that means the text also becomes unreadable from the other side. So I had to restick them. For the stuff that are not text-based, like graphic elements, for example, I can just easily mirror them on the surface. I made my library already in one folder, and after it's just one button. You just export all your graphic elements, put them into the you just indicate where they are, and just basically puts them into a separate library with like blend file with separate like material properties or shader properties that you can easily just access them from your like library by pressing D, and there's a round UI just comes out, and you can just easily integrate everything. It's like, it's a fucking lifesaver. This was kind of a pain in the butt to apply. I'm sure there's an easy way to do it. The Cal Machine Pros out there, I'm sure you guys are having a stroke right now while watching this. I'm sorry about that. But welcome to my channel. You get a lot of strokes. And it was floating and stuff, and just didn't really feel well there. I just don't know, but I think eventually I kept it there because it's not so visible. So implementing the UX indicators, I would say. Additional stuff. I mean, it's like the whole process is very straightforward. I barely have anything to tell you guys about it, but eventually I'll probably like figure out more what we can do about it, especially for trim sheets and stuff, because trim sheets are lifesaver, because you can save a lot from texture memory for long term if you're reusing them for the projects. But also you can save from performance too, because you can bake them in a separate file, and then you can use them in your library, and you can just slap them like how I did it here for the graphic elements onto the surface. So yeah, you can have panel cuts and stuff, which is quite very intuitive and very fast, and it makes your life and your friend who is like probably a game artist, for example, all of your life easier, because you can also share those textures and they can use them directly in Unreal, for example, or while they're modeling stuff. So they don't have to, neither you have to model those panels on the design itself, nor the game artist who has to freaking like spend hours on trying to optimize model or like remodel our crappy meshes. Yeah, some parts were not actually sticking, so I'm applying the mirror modifier and just pulling them out. Probably that was a slight shift in mirror, which is, yeah, not great, but it works. So here comes the texturing part. In this case over here, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible while I'm texturing. because I mean, if you do not really like name them yourself or group them, node structures can come out of hand very quickly, and I'm quite disorganized when it comes to that. I just slap things together while I'm working, and then I jump back into Blender. I just don't understand what I just did there. It just feels like hangover. So my main goal in this one was to add some snow into the crevices and dents, and then some nooks and crannies. Like, this is quite basic. You just put two principal BSDF and just connect them together with mix shader and put it into material output, and then put like a AO into the factor, and then you can put a color ramp, and you can also, if you want, you can mix it with a texture, so you can add some texture into AO, and then with the color ramp you can change the intensity and the reach of the like grunge. For this case it's snow, but you can also do rust, you can also do, I don't know, like leakage and stuff. It's very fun. I wanted to keep it simple because I didn't want the card to look worn out. And this is like as if it went through the terrain and then just paused there. Like, there can be a lot of layers to this. You can add rust under this, and you can also add like a couple more stuff, including the snow as well. You can even have like this like little bits of water coming out of the melted parts of the snow as well. I just didn't really think about it, but for this case I kept it like 2 layers. Like the actual color also has its own roughness element, but also snow, and the snow also has its own texture as well. And like it quite like works this case actually. It's I cannot really complain about it. There can be some stretch marks of the texture, which you might want to fix it by connecting to UV and just cube projecting. It generally solves the problem. It also gave me a chance to play around with the colors a little bit, although didn't really change them that much. Yeah, the upper part I wanted to also put some snow onto it, but also I realized that in our initial research we were thinking about like having the surface like heated up a little bit so it doesn't really accumulate snow. So I only indicated like just little bits of like snow, how can I say, like accumulation in some parts. Also, I thought there can be a slight bit of roughness on the headlight and tail light covers. As you can see, I'm playing around with the AO a little bit, like crank it up, like find the sweet spot. Also, decided to add some bump map into it because it was looking way too flat, as if it's a part of the color itself. So if you also add this bump map, it kind of gives this little bits of like accumulation of snow. So yeah, it's probably not so visible from far away, but you can feel it that it's actually there at this edge. This is the final presentation of our design. For this case, we now have a turntable, and yeah, we will see what. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for staying with me for like 2 months for this project. Next video is going to be about a go-kart, but this time around I decided to not go through the whole process, but record myself while presenting the finished design. And let's see which one you guys will like the most. I will ask you guys when we are completely done with it. And then, yeah, I would like to hear your feedback. If you just joined us, like, subscribe, hit some bells. And yeah, thank you. I'll be posting any video in a weekend, and then we will take off to the go-kart design, and then we will see what will come up next. So I would like to hear what you guys think and what you guys would like to see in the future. Otherwise, yeah, I'll come up with some ideas and wonder if you guys will like it or not. So I wish you guys a great weekend, and yeah, we'll see you